Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely day today. So for today's video, I'm finally going to update you guys on my palette that I have sucked so bad at keeping you guys updated on. I feel like I'm just getting bored of this palette, guys. We are on the final stretch and hopefully, you know, that gives me a bit of a kick up the booty to get a bit more use on this. But yeah, it's been so long since I've updated you guys on this palette, so let's get straight on into it. This is what the palette is currently looking like. So sadly, no new pans, but I do feel like I'm starting to see, you know, a lot of changes in some of the shades. So let's get into this. So the first shade, which is this one here, which is called Ounce. I used it 18 times since the last update, and that is now 45 times total. There is no pan in this shade, but oh my god, guys, the dip is insane. I feel like we're getting really close. I don't think we'll hit pan before the next update, but hopefully before the end of the year we will. I absolutely have fell in love with this shade as an inner corner and brow bone shade. I just think it looks beautiful. I love it. It's not too glittery. It's just like an actual, you know, like lit from within glow kind of a shade, which I absolutely love. I love that shade. Moving on to Chaser. So since the last update, I've used Chaser 13 times and I've now used it 21 times total. And I'm definitely seeing some disturbance in this pan now. I'm seeing a dip forming on one side. I don't think we're close to hitting pan by any means, but I think this is a shade we could potentially hit pan on before the end of the year, which would just be amazing. And it's a super pale shade, so it's quite easy to, you know, integrate into a lot of looks. So then we're going to move on to Sourced, which is the only shade that we have pan on. And I know that this pan has expanded since the last update. I'm just excited to see the difference, hopefully. But yeah, since last update, I've used it 10 times and that is now 31 times total. And obviously the pan is just, she's juicy, you know. I've kind of slowed down on using that shade because I would really like to hit pan in a couple of these shades before the end of the year. So hopefully I can do that. So let's move on to the next shade, which is Low Blow, which was one of my focus shades. So my focus shades, I want to try and use 10 times. And I did do that. So I used Low Blow 16 times. I've now used it 33 times total, which is the second most used shade, by the way. And there's no pan, but the pan is super disturbed and I'm definitely seeing a dip forming, like 100%. It's also a super easy shade to, you know, interpret into a lot of looks. And yeah, I'm enjoying using that shade, to be honest. So next up we have Lumbar, which I haven't used since the last update and I've only used it 3 times total. And yeah, not a lot to be said about that one. And then we have He Devil, which again, I've not used since the last update and I've only used it 6 times total. So again, not a lot to say about that one either. And then next to that we have Dirty Talk, which again, I have not used. And I've actually only used the shade once since the start of this project. So not very good at all. And then moving on to Scorched, which I only used once and I've now used it 5 times total. But the pan does look different to me, at least. Obviously, I don't think you're going to see a whole ton of difference, but it got used. And then next to that we have Cayenne, which I used 5 times since the last update and I've now used it 17 times total. And yeah, I feel like the pan is definitely looking like it's been used now. I'm just not happy that this palette doesn't look more used with how far into the year we are. I just feel like so many of these shades are so similar that like a lot of my eyeshadow looks look exactly the same and I feel like I'm just getting bored of it now. But we're so close to the end of the year that I'm just going to persevere through with it. So next up we have En Fuego, which was one of my focus shades. And obviously, like I said, focus shades, I want to try and use 10 times. I only used it 4. And I've used it 14 times altogether. Now, I wish I'd have put a bit more oomph into this, because the dip on this is so good because I use it kind of like as a winged liner most of the time. Can you guys see the dip that has formed there? I really think that could be a shade that we could hit pan on. Like, I really do believe that. So I'm going to keep trying to use it and hopefully hit pan on it. Hopefully by next update. That would be insane. So then next up we have Ashes, which I only used once and I've now used it 9 times. It's not one of my favourite shades. I do use it for winged liner. That's kind of it, because I don't like it any other way. It just doesn't suit my eyes at all. But there is like a nice little dip there. It's just that deep dark purple just isn't really for me, you know. And then the last shade is Ember, which I have not used, and I've only ever used it once, and I've just kind of given up on Ember, if I'm being honest with you. I just don't like the shade. It's way too dark for me. Maybe when we go into autumn, I might use it a little bit more. But currently, for whatever reason, it is so sunny. And we're in September, mid-September, by the way. And it is this sunny. I mean, I'm not going to complain, but I'm just not really feeling that autumnal vibe yet, you know? But those are all of the shades. Obviously, we're in September, and I usually update these every 2 months, but because I've been so bad, I don't think there's any point in me updating twice. Maybe I will, and then I'll do... Yeah, actually, do you know what? The next update for this will be the finale, because I'll give myself December to just play with all of my eyeshadows and pick what I want. So I'm not going to pick any focus shades. I'm just going to try and hit pan on as many shadows as physically possible. So hopefully I'm going to be doing a lot of eyeshadow looks, even if it's just playing around and seeing what I can do with this palette. I think I'm going to set myself a goal of using each shade. Oh my god, is this going to be hard? I'm going to try and set a goal to use each shade at least 5 times. Hopefully. Hopefully we can do that. I'm just hoping I can hit pan on a couple of them, guys. I feel like this palette was a good choice because it is my oldest palette, but how can I be creative with this? How can I be creative with this palette? All of them look the same. All the shades look the same, which in turn makes all my eyeshadow looks look the same. Even if I try and do something a little bit more creative, they all look the same. So yeah, I'm just a bit bored of this. I think next year's Pan That palette is going to have to be a bit more of a colourful palette, or at least something I can have a little bit of, you know, fun with. But yeah, not my favourite. Love the palette itself. Such a good palette, especially for how old it is. But I just feel like it wasn't the best choice that I've had. That is everything for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry for it taking so long to update you guys, but yeah, hopefully next update will be on time. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. I hope that your Pan That palettes are going so much better than mine, because mine is going horrifically wrong. But yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.